Hello, ladies and gentlemen out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to the third and final event of Daytona Speedweek and the first points race of Season 10 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, as we are getting set for 40 laps of action here in the Great American Race. But I'm not alone here in the booth. I am joined by NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series legend, Mr. James Qualls.
What's up, Levi? And we got as always, we got a star-studded field for this season of Marvel Studios Cup Series. And as always, I know you might not. I don't know if you or mine or might not ask for picks or whatever, but I say it's a pick 'em race as well as it always is every season here. But this is Daytona too, so like you said, like we always say, Daytona, you never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. Same goes for tracks on the schedule this season, like Talladega and Pensacola, the only super speedways we're going to this season. So, yeah, and also a fun note for those who are curious. So, yeah, this season's schedule, it's going to go through a bunch of different regional swings. So this race is the start of the first of the two-part southeastern swing that will continue on for the next several races before we move into a different part of the schedule. But that's not until this coming Monday. Let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineup for the Daytona 500. Now remember, the lineup was determined via the dual races back on Wednesday night. So this is how the field looks. So on the front row were the two dual winners, Lisa Nelson and William Brock. Row 2, we have Patrick Smith and Ryan Acosta. Row 3, Rafael LeDuc and Dylan Young. Row 4, Cole Deaver and Riley Henry. Row 5, Cody Lamas, Jesse Turner. Row 6, Laney Marino and Joey Parkhill. Row 4, Hannah Klein and Henry Sanford. Row 8 is Jay Jefferson, Caleb Kilburn. Row 9, Charles Belding, Daniel Bichard. Row 10, James Qualls and Carson Gum. Row 11 is Matt McIntyre, Daniel Voiles. Row 12, Melissa Alexander, Keith Miller Jr. Row 13, we have Dylan Jacobs and Lauren Marino. Row 14, Seth Cole and Daniel DK. Row 15, Quentin Moore, and Alex Hoover. Row 16, we have Kyle Matthews, Raphael Fireblade. Row 17, Mitchell Collins, Jonathan Zorline. Row 18, Jordan Forbes and Zachary Fitzwater. Row 19, Jessica Sheldon and the defending series champion Scott Groverston. And then in the final row, we have Michael Norman and Alyssa Drayson. With that said, let's go ahead and get the command to fire engines for the Great American Race, the Daytona 500.
Drivers, start your engines.
So yeah, for this Daytona 500, this is going to be kind of a passing of the torch moment, so to speak, because there are quite a few drivers that are in this race that are in the Daytona 500 for perhaps the final time of their careers. Most notably, Alyssa Drayson and Rafael LeDuc, as Rafael LeDuc is going to be retiring from the Marvel Studios Cup Series after Season 10, but what a way it would be for one of those two to go out with a bang here in Season 10 to not only win this race and win a bunch more, but even the championship. But knowing how Daytona is a total crapshoot. You never know who can come out on top. And also, anticipate the big one if we get it, because typically in the past here in the Daytona 500, we tend to go caution-free, and we see some fantastic racing going on all throughout the field. But will that trend change? That remains to be seen. But as far as any predictions, my quick pick, just randomly, I'm actually going to go with Charles Belding in the 91. He's been fairly solid throughout Speed Week, but Qualls, who do you got real quick before we take the green?
Well, like I said, I say it's a you pick him on this one. And I think on this whole deal, like I said, it's a star-studded deal like we always have in the Marble Studios Cup. And
ladies and gentlemen, it's time to boogity go race it.
And the Marble Studios Cup World Tour is underway. Cole Deaver wasting no time as he go into turn number 3 here, as he is going to take the lead on this first lap. He has got Cody Lamas behind him in the 48 car, and here they come off turn number 4, and I think Deaver's going to lead this first lap here.
And yes, indeed, it was Cole Deaver to lead the first lap. How big would this be for that young man in the 3 car to win the same race his idol Dale Earnhardt won back in 1998?
Yeah, it'd be a first either way for an Eater series, because he's never won the 500 in my series yet. The last time he was at Daytona, however, in my series in the Castrol Cup, he won the 400. So maybe the same luck will happen here.
Perhaps, but right now Cody Lamas now has the race lead. Now, you want to talk about a guy who is very, very determined this season. Cody Lamas was a championship favorite back in Season 8. Missed the championship by 1 single solitary point to Seth Cole. Last season, he didn't make very many races because he had bad luck in the first 5 races of Season 9, fell out of top 30 in points, and then just struggled to qualify for races. But this season, he made the 500, and he's determined to get back into the saddle that he was in back in Season 8. But Dylan Jacobs has the lead, but here comes Daniel DK, who is the biggest rookie we have coming in Season 10, as he is making his NR 2003 debut. Also a great friend of mine who also is an excellent guitarist, playing in bands such as Diamonds and Exciter, as he's repping those bands on his car, and currently leading the Daytona 500. How big would it be for a guy making his first ever start, not just in this series but in all of NR 2003, to win the biggest race of them all?
That's the great thing about this kind of series too, because I mean, you look at this whole field right there. I don't think there's a driver in this field that there's not a story on. As you said, though, you got anything from anywhere from first timers to, as you said, a couple of guys retiring at the end of the season there, and guys trying to get their ducks back in a row, I guess you might say, for the season. And we got a battle for the lead about to happen here, as DK will lead this lap over. Who's that in the 81 car?
That is Rafael Fireblade. He, along with the other Horseman Racing drivers like Hannah Klein, Ricky Carmen, and Artur Castanha, making their returns to the Marble Studios Cup Series after quite a few seasons hiatus, driving for Toyota this season. But reminder that next season there's going to be a major manufacturer shift. Toyotas will be out after Season 10, and in its place will be 2 new manufacturers, Buick and Pontiac, as next season's manufacturer lineup's kind of crowded. We got Chevys, Dodge, Buicks, Pontiacs, and Fords that are all going to be scratching and clawing their place in Season 11. But Zachary Fitzwater, who was a championship contender in Season 9, leads that lap, and ironically, the guy right behind him is the defending series champion Scott Groverston, and Groverston has never won the Daytona 500, and he wants to keep the momentum that he's got going from winning the championship back in Season 9 by winning the biggest race of them all.
And Groverston's the guy you never count out neither. And of course, another thing too, Fitzwater, we saw him win, I think at Talladega last season too, because I mean, so he's no stranger to running good on the plate tracks himself.
Absolutely, but now Jessica Shelton has the race lead for the time being, leading over Daniel Voiles, but Voiles is going to get a run on the inside and a push from the number 38 of Lauren Marino. She, along with her sister Lainey Marino, making their debuts today, and that makes them the second of 2 siblings that are in this season. Along with Charles and Henry Sanford, we got Lainey and Lauren Marino here in the field. So some family ties running through this season as Daniel Voiles leads, but Jessica Shelton wants to take it back as they are 3 wide several rows deep. And I noticed, yeah, the one car that lost the draft was Alyssa Drayson. She just did not get going at the start of the race and now has fallen out of the group. So she's hoping and praying for a quick caution to come out so she can contend once again.
They keep racing like this, that she may get that caution, and that may be a break. Of course, I mean, that's some people may not realize that, you know, I mean, some people do realize it and some people may don't. I mean, yeah, you lost a draft and you're running dead last, yes, but if you're running in a pack like this, though, you're hoping for a caution flag, and you see a pack like this happening, you might possibly get it, you might not. It's just the brakes. It just depends on whether the brakes fall your way or not.
As right now, Raphael Fireblade now has the race lead for the moment as he got pushed by Carson Gum. Now, Carson Gum is another guy who wants a little bit of redemption. He was also in the hunt for the championship in Season 9, but just came up short in the final race at Kansas. But right now, having a strong run going here in the early stages of the 500 and getting that push from his teammate Daniel Voiles, as now Carson is looking to take the top spot away from the 81. So we're seeing a lot of team cooperation going on throughout the field. And let's actually go to helicopter view and watch the action from above for a little bit, as Raphael Fireblade uses the outside lane to keep the spot for the time being. And I believe Fireblade will be the first driver so far today to lead more than 1 lap, it looks like. And he did lead that lap, but now Daniel Voiles wants to take the position back from the 81. But we're seeing some new contenders enter the fray, especially on the inside lane. We got Jay Jefferson in the 01, Henry Sanford in the 07, James Qualls in the 70, among many others, looking to take their place up here towards the front. But look at that 3-car tandem up there with Carson, Fireblade, and Voiles. Only Fireblade and Voiles got through that, as Voiles has the race lead for now. As Raphael Fireblade now pulls down to the inside, he wants to keep the lead for as long as he can. Doesn't lead that lap. And also, I forgot to mention, too, that with this season comes a new point structure. Whereas in the seasons in the past, we used to run the 1 point per position system. Now we're going to what's called the Winston Cup system, but with some fixes. It's going to be 5 points per position, except for first and second. It's separated by 10 points to give more cushion to the race winner at the end of the race. But also 5 bonus points for leading a lap, 5 points for leading the most laps, and then starting at North Wilkesboro on Monday, you will be getting 5 bonus points if you can qualify on the pole for a race. So the maximum amount of points you can get is 195 if you were to get the pole, lead the most laps, and win. So it's going to be interesting to see how this point structure goes throughout the rest of the season, as right now, while Daniel Bouchard led that lap, Ryan Acosta now to the front of the field.
And that's gonna be some extra incentive for all of these teams to work on their qualifying setups, and I guess you might say, and drivers to practice their qualifying skills, I guess you might as well too. I'm not saying all 40 of these drivers are not capable of winning the pole, because I mean they are at any given race. So, but I mean 5 extra points for winning the pole. I mean that's going to give them extra incentive, as I said here.
Absolutely, as Cole Deaver led that lap, and they are going to catch Alyssa Drayson. So Alyssa doesn't look like the break she needed is going to happen. She's going to end up more than likely going a lap down. But at the very least, she will be in the pack. Scott Groverston's sort of on the tail end of the draft, but he might be able to get back in there as Cole Deaver pulls away with the race lead for now, but here comes Jesse Turner with a full head of steam, getting that big push from Cody Lamas in the 48.
I was going to say, where'd that 17 come from?
Oh, but I see they're 4 wide in the back. Oh, I'm going to go to helicopter view to take a look at it. They actually settled it out to 3 wide, so good job on their parts. Really good job. But Jesse Turner led the lap, but now here comes Cody Lamas. And I was just about to say, 2 of the 3 KMZ racing drivers that made the race, Matt McIntyre and Jonathan Zorlane, sadly the one driver from the team that's missing is the returning DJ Curtis, as he did not make the 500 during the duels. So he'll have to wait until North Wilkesboro to try and qualify his way in. But McIntyre and Zorlane both running up on the top side to see what they can do, as Dylan Jacobs, our only 2-time champion, up here, and Raphael Fireblade coming into pit road. Don't know if this is pit strategy or if there's something wrong with that car. Either way, it's a tough break for that 81 Horseman Podcast Slipknot Toyota. I'm going to keep an eye on him for just a moment to see what's going on here. They're not changing tires. They're either putting gas in the car. Yeah, it looks like just gas and go. He might be thinking about if there's a possibility of fuel mileage towards the end of the race if we stay clean and green the whole way through, which so far we've gone about 15 laps without a worry, as Kyle Matthews now has the race lead.
Kyle Matthews, no stranger running up front at Daytona, but here comes Charles Belding and Quentin Moore to the left side. Whoa, Quentin! Looking a little racy right here on the inside lane. And I think, is that Boyles on the inside there to the end? No, that's not Boyles. That
would be Daniel DK at the front.
DK, okay.
Yeah, Daniel DK back up here at the front and really going for it. And how about, look at that! On the inside, you saw 3 Shadow Cole Racing teammates working together. Riley Henry led that, along with Jordan Forbes and Scott Groverston. The only teammates missing in that whole thing was Dylan Jacobs and Jay Jefferson. And then the one driver that ended up not making the race from Shadow Cole Racing is Lindsey Snyder, who wrecked out during the duels. And now Lauren Marino is coming into pit road, although she's gotten some donuts on the passenger side of that car. She's been mixing it up with quite a few drivers, and she's actually got some damage on the rear end. It almost looks like she might have made contact with somebody and it messed up her car.
Looks like the side of that car looking at the side of the car, looks like it came out of Martinsville or Bristol, doesn't it?
A little bit, and I was trying to see if I could find a culprit, but I haven't really seen anybody. But yeah, Lauren Marino, tough break, and now Raphael Fireblade now right in front of the pack, possibly about to go a lap down. So he and Alyssa Drayson will be, along with Lauren Marino, 1 lap down, as Lauren Marino gets out of the pits, and it looks like they fixed the damage on her car, but she's going to go a lap down as well. So tough breaks for the 87 to 38 and the 81 right there. The only hope that the 38 may have at the win here is if everybody has to pit towards the end and she can try and stay out and gain as many spots as possible. But back up here at the front, we got a Hornet's Nest battle for the lead. Michael Norman had it, but Joey Parkhill now is going to take it.
And I think right now the 81 would be the lucky dog at this point right there, much to Alyssa Drayson's dismay on that one.
Well, unfortunately, there wouldn't be a lucky dog, so sorry.
Oh.
But regardless,
I knew that. Sorry.
But regardless, Daniel Bouchard had the lead at the line, but Ryan Acosta seems to know how to peek his way into the mix little by little as we go along, as he's trying to get that middle line working, but Bouchard getting that push from Matt McIntyre to keep the lead for the time being. But we're seeing some more new contenders. Hannah Klein in the 11 out of Horseman Racing in the Horseman Podcast Rammstein car. trying to weasel her way to the front and going to make it 3 wide for second. But Daniel Bouchard still hanging on to that top spot.
And Ryan Acosta wasn't the only one that could peek his way up to the front there. You remember seeing, and because I saw a few laps ago, seeing Scott Groverson up in about the top 5 of his position. He was in the back of the pack, about almost ready to lose the draft a minute before that.
Yeah, goes to show you how powerful the suck-up is in this race. But look at the 87 of Alyssa Drayson. Even though she's a lap down, she's trying to work her way up there and try and get her lap back and then hope a caution were to come out and she could get that lap back. And I see Kyle Matthews pulling into pit road. I'm very curious to know why drivers are coming into pit road like this unless they're anticipating the race going green and it comes down to fuel mileage. Which it has happened in the past, but it's very, very uncommon for a race at Daytona to come down to fuel mileage.
I think that's it, too, I think, for the most part. And, of course, we're now halfway home in this race. And if Matthews comes in coming in, what was it, lap 20 he came in? And I don't know, that's cutting it close, actually. Because, I mean, that's right on the 20 down, 20 to go. That's right on the money right there.
And now I see Riley Henry in the 40 coming in as well. Yeah, it's very, very weird seeing this happen, but Rafael Leduc now has the race lead. As like I said, this is his farewell season, and he wants to go off with a bang. But speaking of bang, Melissa Alexander now to the lead as we got the ladies right now 1-2. Melissa Alexander and Lisa Nelson, the pole sitter, now up here in second as Lisa wants to try and get those valuable 5 bonus points for leading a lap, but right now she's tucked in line behind the 78 for the time being, and now is going to come down and follow her. And it looks like they will catch Kyle Matthews momentarily to put him a lap down, but nobody else in the group is coming into pit road right now, and oh, good move on the part of rookie Lisa Nelson. Pulls down in front of Mitchell Collins, and now has the run on the inside to get the lead. And now Matthews is going to end up blending in with the pack. Riley Henry, on the other hand, he's going to have to wait.
Yeah, I was going. This case, you better hope that guy on the inside doesn't LePage you, if you will.
Or pull a Dylan Young. That infamous
God.
moment from the Walmart Cup Series days. But looks like Lisa Nelson, as long as she doesn't get passed off of 4, looks like she'll finally get those 5 bonus points for leading a lap, although Scott Groverston wants to say something. But no, Lisa does get those points. But it's still 3 wide, so many rows deep, but here comes Jessica Shelton to the lead again.
And we know Shelton's no stranger of running up front in any series she's in.
Quentin Moore, excuse me, hanging on strong in second as he's now going to get teammate and boss James Qualls pushing him for the time being, as Carson Gum losing a ton of momentum as he had no draft push from anybody behind him to try and push forward. So right now, 2 of the 3 Johanna Atwood Motorsports drivers running in the top 3. And now Qualls is feeling like it's go time to try and get some points. And I actually see... I'm going to switch it over to the onboard real quick. Oh, I thought I saw a buckle on the front end of the 70, but I guess it was just those white lines on the car. Oh, and we got a crash! Looks like Hannah Klein was involved. Ryan Acosta, Riley Henry, but I guess, and Joey Parkhill and Alyssa Drayson, but no caution. No caution. We stay green for now as Sheldon's about to get passed by the 70 of Qualls for the top spot as Keith Miller Jr. is going to pull down into pit road. And Qualls is going to get those 5 bonus points. 15 laps to go here in the 500, and things are getting really dicey up here at the front as drivers are really trying their best to push forward as they're going through the dust clouds of cars sliding through the grass in the back of the field. Yeah, Alyssa Drayson now on pit road. Riley Henry with both the front and rear end of his car crushed. Hannah Klein with damage. Joey Parkhill. I'm curious to know what happened, but no caution out for that. And Riley Henry has taken his car over the wall. He is done for today. Tough break for that number 40 car out of Shadow Call Racing.
Yeah, and Shadow Cult Racing, and of course, this season, as you know, has formed a very formative team. They're going to be dangerous this year, too. Of course, they've been dangerous the last few seasons on this series. As we continue to watch Shelton and I wonder who that 70 car is. Who they run side by side, but now 70 is going to fall back a bit, and Shelton's got the momentum on the high side. Tells you kind of what kind of horsepower she's got under the hood of that 02 Venom energy machine. But I see Seth Cole now throwing his hat in the ring in his battle for the lead as well, too.
Yeah, Seth Cole pushing Daniel DK and Shelton past the bottom lane. And that was a good strategy on the part of those three to try and maintain their spots for the moment. But DK coming down to block the move the 25 was trying to make. But can Seth Cole make the move to get up to second? It looks like he's there, and he's going to get a push from his good friend Michael Norman in the 21.
Here comes another veteran behind him, too. Where did Dylan Young come from?
Yeah, Dylan Young trying to make his presence felt, and his teammate Zachary Fitzwater not too far behind. But Michael Norman, who knows what it's like to win the 500, he wants to get another one to his impressive legacy, as he's going to get to the front now with the push from Henry Sanford.
But Seth Cole's going to get the momentum back on the outside, and I think he's going to take that lap from Norman, and he indeed will do so.
Oh, and we got a crash. Kyle Matthews gets slammed. Mitchell Collins for the second race in a row. He's involved in Jordan Forbes with a destroyed race car. Caution immediately out, but they're going to race it back to the line.
Yeah, Matthews' car looked really destroyed, too.
So it looks like a 4-car accident at the back of the field through the tri-oval is going to bring the caution out for the first time. And this is the lucky break for Keith Miller Jr. If he can stay ahead of the leaders, he'll get to stay on the lead lap and be in contention. Can he? It looks like he will, but who's going to lead at the line?
That's going to happen.
I think Seth got it by an inch.
Fitzwater, I think.
According to scoring, Seth Cole got the lead at the line. But that was a lucky break. Yeah, lucky break. Well, Lauren Marino, I think, was already a lap down, was on the verge of going 2 laps down, but Keith Miller Jr. caught a lucky break and will stay on the lead lap. But, yeah, Seth Cole, the Season 8 champion, currently leading the 500. But let's go ahead and take a look at the replay of... First, we're going to take a look and see what happened with the 40, the 87, the 77, and the 11 that did not bring a caution out. And then we're going to take a look and see what brought the caution out for the first time today here at Daytona. So as far as what had happened with the 11 of Hannah Klein, the 77 of Joey Parkhill, the 40 of Riley Henry, and the 87 of Alyssa Drayson, they were 4 wide back on lap 25 going into turn 1, and it looks like Joey Parkhill just is trying to give room to the 29 of William Brock, but the 29 crowded the 77, and he ends up coming down in front of the 11. And then they're both going to slide back up into traffic. And it's going to be Riley Henry that hits the rear end of Joey Parkhill, and then Alyssa Drayson into the rear end of Riley Henry. But nobody spun. They all kept it straight. Although Ryan Acosta is going to make contact with the 11, and that's going to get the 10 involved a little bit. But nobody spun, so no caution came out for that. Now we're going to take a look and see what brought the caution out here at Daytona. Now, as far as what brought the caution out, this was 3 laps later, or 4 laps later, coming to lap 29. They were 4 wide in the back of the field. It was Kyle Matthews, Patrick Smith, Mitchell Collins, and Quentin Moore. And then what you're going to see is Patrick Smith trying to give room to Mitchell Collins, but ends up just getting sandwiched between Collins and Matthews. And then Matthews turns up, and look at the hit that the 09's going to take. head on into the outside wall and actually went up on 2 wheels. And tough break for Mitchell Collins. He won the Busch Clash on Monday. A lot of hopes were high for him to achieve the Daytona Triple. Wrecked out in the duels, and he wrecks out here in the 500. But now there was a secondary incident that took place afterwards involving Jonathan Zorline and Jordan Forbes. So we're going to keep an eye on this, as they went past the initial wreck without a problem, and then somehow the 39 and the 00 just get loose, but it's the 39. Oh, that is a hard hit. Driver's side first into that concrete opening at 190 miles an hour. So while Matthews took a hard hit in the front end, Forbes took the worst of it, and it was just in the aftermath, the reaction to trying to avoid everything, and he just gets loose and slam that inside opening, concrete might I add, so hard that the entire left front fender was gone from the car.
I would imagine the pace car driver had his heart up his throat. Had his heart up his throat though when he saw that 39 car come right in front of him.
Yeah, let's actually look at the secondary wreck from the helicopter camera to kind of get an idea of what had happened. So yeah, the 00 and the 39, they're past the wreck by that point, but something happens to both of those cars where they both just turn down to the apron, get loose, whereas Zorline saved it. Forbes unfortunately could not, and just pounds that wall really hard.
Oh my god.
But luckily, Forbes
and Kyle Matthews both.
Yeah, but luckily they were both alright, since the cars are the safest they've ever been. But still, that's a pretty hard wreck, and we're actually going to take an onboard with the 39 of Forbes, so warning. On board with Jordan Forbes, so this is going to be a hard impact, but he sees the wreck happening up ahead, but then just gets loose and wham! Totaled that perfectly good race car. Indeed, poor Yoshi. So after everything that taken place, 2 cars are out of the race, and how ironic, Jordan Forbes and Riley Henry, in their respective numbers, finish in that same number in the positions mark. Can we say Illuminati confirmed? I think so, but regardless. So unfortunately, those 2 will not be getting scored points as a result of finishing in the bottom 5. But we're down to 38 cars on track, 32 on the lead lap, and while we were under break, some cars elected to come into pit road, so we'll see if drivers can make it on gas the rest of the way. But Seth Cole is currently your leader, 2nd is Henry Sanford, 3rd is Matt McIntyre, 4th Caleb Kilburn, 5th Cole Deaver, 6th is Melissa Alexander, 7th is Lisa Nelson, 8th Alex Hoover, 9th Daniel Bouchard, 10th is Jessica Shelton, 11th is Quentin Moore, 12th Dylan Jacobs, 13th Kyle Matthews, or actually no, not Kyle Matthews. Some of these cars are still a lap or more down. No, 13th's all the way back here, and Keith Miller Jr. 14th James Qualls, 15th Daniel Voiles, 16th Michael Norman, 17th Jesse Turner, 18th Daniel DK, 19th Jay Jefferson, 20th Carson Gunn. 21st is Scott Groverston, 22nd Jonathan Zorline, 23rd William Brock, 24th Laney Marino, 25th, Rafael Leduc, 26th is Ryan Acosta, 27th, Charles Belding, 28th, Patrick Smith, 29th, Dylan Young, 30th, Mitchell Collins, and then 31st, Zachary Fitzwater, and 32nd, Cody Lamas, with Rafael Fireblade, Kyle Matthews, excuse me, Joey Parkhill, Hannah Klein, and Lauren Marino a lap down, and Alyssa Drayson 2 laps down. But when we get back to racing, there'll be 7 laps to go. Time running out for drivers to make moves to get the biggest win of their careers. Pace car into pit road. Green flag is back out. 7 to go.
Fasten your seatbelts. This is going to be quite a race.
And luckily, some of those cars that are a lap down are still up to speed, so it's not like they're going to hinder drivers from trying to get back into the main pack. It's just a matter of maneuvering their way around the other cars. But Seth Cole got off to a decent jump on that restart, but look at this. It's going to be 3 wide for the lead. Matt McIntyre in the middle, and Caleb Kilburn to the inside. And both McIntyre and Kilburn were also championship contenders at the end of last season, but came up short to the 42 of Scott Groverston. Wait a minute! Oh, Dylan Jacobs, Melissa Alexander, and... Oh, a lot of cars coming into pit road. Man, that's a heartbreak for Melissa, Matt, Shelton, Hoover, and Jacobs. All on pit road now.
And one of the cars up front, though, he had to make a last-second maneuver and looked almost like the McIntyre center punched him in the back.
And look at this, a 2-car tandem and teammates breaking away from everybody. Lisa Nelson pushing Caleb Kilburn past everybody, but now Lisa Nelson wants to get the lead for herself so she can go coast to coast and go from the pole to winning the 500 on the same day. But look at who all is coming 10 miles per hour faster. Oh, Lisa Nelson! Oh, a bunch more coming into pit road. Jeez, what in the world is happening here?
Kilburn as well, too.
We're back underway, or back to the front, and it's Jesse Turner with the lead, but here comes Laney Marino to the inside to take it away. Ford's making their presence felt with Marino, Turner, and now Zorling up here into the mix. As we got 4.5 laps to go, and a lot of more drivers making moves. Carson Gum, ooh, wow, what a power move by the 60 of Carson. Going past 2 rows of cars to get back up here towards the front of the field.
I thought Zorlin was going to crowd him down below the yellow line there for a minute, too.
Yeah, I thought so too, but luckily he gave him room to make the move. Which, depending on if you think that's smart or not, but it might have been smart because now Fitzwater is now back up here into the mix to get the lead back. As we're seeing the group starting to form up a little bit again. The tail end of it is James Qualls, and then it's a little group led by Cody Lamas in the 48 back here in 12th. So it looks like the race is going to more than likely come down to whoever's up here in the top 11 right now, as Fitzwater now has the lead as he's getting pushed by the driver who started second, William Brock, who in turn's getting pushed by the lapped car of Joey Parkhill. 3 laps to go here in the 500. And I'm trying to keep an eye out for any of those people that came into pit road. It looks like some of them, most of them won't be a hazard. Maybe Daniel Bouchard. I'm going to keep an eye on him and see how he handles getting back on the racetrack. Oh, wowie. Oh, he ended up holding up everybody except for 3 cars. But only 2 of them are on the lead lap, and that's Norman and Fitzwater. But I don't see that lasting for too long, as these drivers are going to catch them eventually. But they better start pushing it, because now it's going to be 2 laps to go, and it's side by side between Fitzwater and Norman. But they're also going to catch Dylan Jacobs, who will be up to speed and won't be a problem that much. And actually, the 81 of Rafael Fireblade's being used as a pick, so to speak, for these cars. But look at Daniel DK up here in 4th, and he's reeling in the top 3 now. Or the top 2, I should say.
That 81 car could be more... That 81 car could be Norman's best friend if he could stay right behind him. But here comes Fitzwater to the low side.
Who's getting pushed by DK. But yeah, Norman hanging on for now. We're coming to the white flag. It's still anybody's race up here in this group. As we're... Oh, DK didn't block the 34. That's going to cost him for now. But the white flag is out. Fitzwater has the spot. But here comes the 34 of Laney Marino.
First ever start too. She could pull what some certain person in the same number did in this year's 500, except without wrecking the field.
Yeah, and she's getting pushed by Carson Gum, but the race ain't over till it's over. And look at William Brock getting pushed by Cody Lamas. I don't know if it's going to be enough. No, it doesn't quite make it work yet. but it's
He
still
can still make a
side
move
by
off turn number
side.
4, though.
But Fitzwater got a run of a lifetime up on the middle line, and it's gonna be Zachary Fitzwater. Redemption for missing the championship. Zachary Fitzwater wins the Daytona 500 to kick off season 10.
Wow.
What a move! He went to the middle line and managed to get a bigger run off the corner than the bottom lane somehow, and pulled off the biggest win of his career.
Has that 12 car got some power or what?
Yeah, ever since if I recall, I believe he missed the 500 last season, and then made every other race and almost got the championship. This season he enters with the W here at the Daytona 500. What an accomplishment for that 12 team.
Not only what an accomplishment, but what a fine drive by Fitzwater as well too. I mean, we thought when the 34 car got the lead and blocked Brock to the lead, I thought it was all over. But Fitzwater, I mean, like I said, Fitzwater, he got the draft that you saw off of Carson Gumb's car in a 60 car, and that was what made the difference there. But middle lane, I never would have thought that. But as I always like to say, they're like line drives in the box score, and so Fitzwater deserved that one. Great job by the 12 team.
And what's funny, he had just run out of gas, so he had basically a half lap to the good. So, yeah, that definitely was close on gas for a lot of people. But let's take a look at the rest of the results. Yeah, Carson Gum, great performance in second, helped push Fitzwater past everybody on the middle groove to get second here today, as great run for the 60. Michael Norman, so close, yet so far from getting another 500 win under his belt, but still great run in third. And how about highest rookie of the day? Daniel DK impressed me in his first showing. Led for quite a few laps, almost had a shot at the win had he not went up to the middle to try to, and bleh. If he had blocked the 34, he might have been in conversation for possibly winning this race, but still, great points day finishing in fourth. And then William Brock started second and got a top 5 in fifth. Cody Lamas, definitely a man out for blood as he finishes in a 6th place finish. Laney Marino, again, another case of so close yet so far, finishing in 7th. Jonathan Zorling, great run in the 8th position. Jesse Turner, solid run in 9th. And James Qualls finishing with a strong 10th place finish. Then there is the rest of your top 20, your top 30, and the bottom 5 for this week was Hannah Klein, Kyle Matthews, Alyssa Drayson, Jordan Forbes, and Riley Henry. Well, that does it for our coverage here at the Daytona 500, and it concludes Daytona Speedweek. Thank you, Mr. Qualls, for stopping by the booth. As we move forward, Monday we return to one of the best short tracks on the schedule, North Wilkesboro, for the first Union 400 to continue the Southeastern Swing Part 1. But until then, here is Zachary Fitzwater's victory burnout, as well as the point standings heading into North Wilkesboro on Monday. And this is Levi McIntyre, signing off.